And now call this meeting to order at 5:10 PM. Representative Davis, can you please lead us in the flag song today?
Fight, fight, fight. Fight, Tigers, fight.
We are now moving to a roll call.
President Ali, Vice President Britton,
Here.
Treasurer Allen, Chief of Staff Hurley, Deputy Chief of Staff Bullock, Director Green, Director Bryant, Director Matthews, Director Fleury, Assistant Director Alani, Director Reyes,
Here.
Assistant Director Paredes, Director Kasaka, Director Dalton, Assistant Director Geiger, Director Thomas, Director Elliott, Assistant Director Fitzgerald, Director Morgan, Assistant Director Mitchell, Director Brown, Assistant Director Arobike, Director Ifeji, Representative Vanuta, Representative Abenes, Representative Davis, Representative Andrew, Representative Guilford, Representative Osazua, Graphic Designer Lizingwork, Graphic Designer Rogers, Photographer Lahai, Videographer Gineja, President Pro Tempore Farrell, Government Operations Chair Rivera Forbes, Appropriations Chair Miller, Senator Atalogu, Senator Cohen,
Present.
Senator Trejo, Senator Salmon, Senator Land, Senator Kinjabu,
Present.
Senator Jonas,
Present.
Senator C. Williams, Senator K. Williams, Senator Hastings, Senator Billy Echo, Senator Fovak, Senator Stanley, Senator Ryan, Chief Justice Olojo, Deputy Chief Justice Blanton, Associate Justice Nikita,
Present.
Associate Justice Hayes Moore, Associate Justice Alua.
Present.
All right, we're now going to move into approval of the minutes. Minutes are approved. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Appropriations Chair Miller,
Motion to amend the agenda to include Finance Bill number 9.
any seconds?
I second.
And with a vote of 13-0-0, the motion to amend the agenda to include Finance Bill number 9 has passed. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Senator Jonas? Motion to amend the agenda by including resolution number 48. Are there any seconds?
Second.
Thank you, Senator Trejo. With a vote of 14-0, the motion to amend the agenda has passed. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Oh, Commissioner Miller.
Since there was not a Liberty Rules Committee, I motion to amend the agenda to table Senate Bill 24 and 25 until next General Assembly.
Are there any seconds?
I second.
Thank you, Senator Kay Williams. And with a vote of 15-0, the agenda has been amended to remove or table Senate Bills number 24 and 25. Are there any other amendments to the agenda? Hear none, see none. Thank you. I'm going to bring up Pamela Gorsuch as our guest speaker. Please give her a round of applause.
Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Is that better? Yes. Thank you so much for having me today. I am here to talk to you all about TU Today, but mostly to listen to you all and to hear how you use TU Today and how it can work better for you. First, a little bit about me. My name is Pam Gorsuch. I'm Director of University Communications here on campus. And essentially that means that I work to develop messages and campaigns that help to share information you need to know with all of our students, faculty, and staff. And one of the ways that we do that is TU Today. So Liam, if you could go forward a couple slides, and the next one. Thank you. So this should be pretty familiar to all of you. This is an example of one of our TU Today emails. TU Today is sent every weekday to all students, faculty, and staff during the academic term. And then during the summer and winter terms, it's sent twice a week. So it has 3 sections that you can kind of see up there. The top section is a news and feature section, which shares campus information, stories about programs and people that inspire. And then that middle section that you see is campus announcements, has updates from all over campus. Any division can submit and have an announcement that displays in it. And then that final section there at the bottom shows the most popular events from our campus events calendar for the day. Any questions about TU Today? I assume most of you are somewhat familiar with it. Okay. All right, so now I want to hear from you how you use it as representatives of our student population and what you like about it and don't like. So if you could go forward, Liam. Thank you. If you guys don't mind getting out your phones, using the QR code, you should be able to access the Slido. If you have any problems accessing the Slido through the QR code, you can go to slido.com and enter that access code. I'll give you all a second to get in. Are you able to get in? Awesome. All right, well then let's go forward. The first question I have for you that I'm hoping you can share is, you go to then. Thank you. Yeah, so how often do you check your TU email? Do you check it maybe like me, 1,000,000 times a day, once a day, less than once a week? I assume you all as members of SGA are getting a lot of email. Okay, looks like you guys are all pretty heavy email users. That's good to know. All right, next up, what about TU Today specifically? How often do you read it? Are you reading it every weekday? Maybe a couple times a week you take a look? Once a week? Okay, it looks like most of you are reading it a couple times a week, or at least once a week. So you're all pretty familiar with it. And we've got a few who don't read it very often at all. That makes sense. Is what we hear a pretty big spread among students. All right, next up, if you do read to you today, what sections do you read the most? And this is a ranking, so we're curious to know what sections you go to first. Is it announcements and then events, or is it news? So it looks like for most of you, announcements, followed by events, and then the news and features. Good. Okay. All right, next up. What types of content would you like to see more of in TU today? What would you like to see? Or what do you hear from, the students you represent that's not in TU today that you would like to see, or that is in TU today and you'd like to see be featured more often? You can type whatever comes to mind for you, whether for students. Oh, okay. Makes sense. Student organizations, you guys are familiar with that. Events, student highlights, this is good. Interesting. Impact. I'm seeing a few more go through, so I'll give it another second. Events with food. That's always popular in TU today. Okay, so some of the big things that are coming up: help, resources, tips for students. Does anyone want to share or just shout out, like, when you see help, for those of you that had that, what do you mean specifically? Help doing things on campus, help finding information? Anyone say that, want to add some more? Nope. Go ahead.
So I actually didn't put help, but I remember we had an ICE like meeting for SGA and then other students on campus. And there was a policy change that kind of let students know that if they were to be stopped by ICE on campus or detained or anything, like any sort of interaction, that Towson actually couldn't give their information to the police, like their records and stuff.
Yeah.
I think if that was kind of shared through such a big like network like TU today, then many students would know their rights.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sharing policy information that could be helpful to students. I see another hand. Thank you.
Hello. I wanted to touch on the resources aspect. I know there's like a lot of resources that Towson provides, such as the hub and like Suit Up, for instance. What I would like to see more of when it comes to like food resourcing, maybe like ways to, I guess, help like who we can go to apply for SNAP benefits. I think that would be really helpful. And then also like what's on the menu for the hub too, because I know sometimes I'm going with an idea of like, oh, I'm gonna get mac and cheese, and they don't have mac and cheese. So like it's good to know those things.
Yeah.
And I think that would be really, really helpful.
So more specificity with resources available and what's available currently. Got it. Anyone else? Oh, yeah.
I think at least the help and resources thing that popped up, I think it's summarizing some of what also was said, because I know I put something in and then help got bigger or resources got
Yeah,
bigger.
yeah.
But I did put tips for students and resources, because a lot of what I hear from students and organizations and just people I talk with on campus is that they didn't know about some of the things that the university offers to help students, or ways that the university is able to support students through different things. So if there was just a section saying, oh, a tip of the day, here's how you can do this or you can do that. I think it might be helpful for students to learn more about the campus.
Yeah, that's good. Or a way to maybe bring together a bunch of them and highlight them. That's great. Thanks. Okay, well, this is what you want to see more of in TU today. The next question is what you want to see less of in TU today. So are there things that are in there that you think, I don't want to see this, or this isn't helpful to me? Curious what those things are. We do have a lot of tiger images, it's true. And non-student focused stories, so it's interesting, more student focused stories, fewer stories on maybe staff and faculty. Yeah. It is tricky since it is an audience of our entire campus. There is some information in there for staff and for faculty and students as well, but students are obviously make up the biggest proportion of our audience, so it makes sense to have more student information in there. Less sports, interesting. Less words. We all, it's hard early in the morning to read long stories. We see that being a barrier too. And associated with sports is jersey giveaways too. I see that. Yep. Keep it short. We hear that a lot about when we did some surveys before we recently updated to you today, and we heard the same feedback about keeping it short. You all are getting it early in the morning. Maybe you want to be able to scan it quickly before moving on with your day. So keep it short. That's great. Okay, just a couple more questions for you. The next one is, some of you said you don't read to you today often. For those of you who said that, or for those of you who have friends who are maybe in that same situation, what are the barriers that are stopping you or preventing you from reading it or from opening it? So many emails, we all struggle with that. Gets buried in the inbox. We talked about, being long. Information not specific to you. That's good. Oh, yeah. I see someone over here. Thank you. This is good feedback.
I'm curious to know what your team looks like how many people on your team. Because I know like for me, I'm like reliant on like alerts to my phone, and maybe that might be a barrier for some people if they get like a flood of emails, which I get. I think like maybe like a text, like if people could opt into that, maybe that could be an option too. I don't know.
Thanks. Yeah, that's helpful. You're talking about having text alerts when there's new news or new to you today. Yeah, got it. That's good. Okay, this is helpful. I think we've got maybe one or two more, if you don't mind going forward. Yeah. Okay, so where in general do you get news and information about what's happening on campus? And I'd love if you could try and rank these in order of what you use the most to what you use the least. Whether it's to you today or websites, emails in general, Blackboard, digital signs, social media. There's a lot of different ways that we use to communicate with students, and then we know colleges use and organizations use. And I'm curious what you prefer. Looks like social media has taken an early lead, which makes sense. And emails too. And then word of mouth, which makes sense for you all. You're connected to a lot of other students. Okay, that's good data for us to go back and look at and think through with the team. And then one last question, which just is to put it out to all of you. Any other feedback or ideas for you today? Any thoughts? Things you'd like to see or not see? Oh, yeah.
I was thinking trying to make it more interactive to the student body. So that way when people click on it and they know they're up to date on what's happening, because some people may not be up to date on what's going on, and then they get lost in the crowd.
Right, and so by interactive, do you mean like maybe they're not up to date? Instead of having it just be for every single day, maybe it's a recap of previous issues as well.
It can keep the same amount of like
days it occurs, but like maybe more polls or funny pictures, things that
Yeah,
get people to laugh.
make some fun stuff. That makes sense. Thank you. There's similar feedback I'm seeing up there. Oh, and yeah, over here, making it more creative. Wordle, that's fun.
So wow, you got for the mind shots. I mean, yeah, I was actually gonna say word or like maybe like a crossword on the side. I don't know how feasible that is. I'm so serious. Okay, can we turn me down a little? I don't know how feasible that is. But yeah, like a little game or something that everybody can play, a little daily thing. Yeah, crossword on the side. Also more like student org stuff. I know like we've had some pretty big events. And I don't, can we turn me down a little? And I don't see, thank you. And I don't see them on my teas today, especially like student work stuff, like, I don't know, like big
Yeah.
parties.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I wanted to have a plug. These are all of my questions and I appreciate all your feedback. And if we have more time, I'm happy to hear more feedback, but I did want to have a plug that students can submit announcements into TU Today through the student affairs representatives. If you click on the view all announcements button on TU Today, you'll see the full TU Today page with all the announcements. There's a list of divisional representatives who can submit. Students can submit through those student affairs representatives, so you can have the information about SGA or your student org that can go into TU Today. And then anyone on campus with a net ID and password can submit events into our campus events calendar, which would put them through into the today's events listing. So I encourage you to add information there. That's what we use and our team use when we're planning out coverage, when we're thinking of events that we want to highlight in our weekly events feature story. So, if you and any other, student organizations that you all work with want to add that, I encourage you to do that and use that as a resource. Any other feedback or thoughts or questions? Yeah.
I was just gonna comment and say that I really liked TU Today. I really look forward to like reading it. And I just wanted to give you that feedback because as somebody who does communication, that's kind of what I want to do as well. So yeah, I really like the stories that are being told and definitely keep it up. And then also, I guess in terms of like making that connection or bridging that gap between other like student organizations, have you guys thought of like any ways to like, I guess, let the student body know that's an option?
Yeah, that's a really good point, and that is something that we've done more of over the past year is outreach, and being here today is one of those ways, but this feedback is helping me brainstorm in real time and something that I'm gonna go back to our team and talk through all of this feedback and think through like, yeah, how can we make sure that this is an accessible tool for everyone? And that we're making it work well for our student population too. Yeah.
I just have a question. Have you guys determined like what gets highlighted in the front cover and like what gets highlighted in general?
Yeah, do you mean in the like the top stories, those
Yeah.
news and feature stories? Yeah, so we have a process, like a planning process that starts in the summer where we meet with departments all around campus and we learn about kind of what their goals are for the year. And then we spend time kind of mapping out how we can help them achieve their goals through storytelling. A lot of it surrounds like campus strategic plan goals, presidential priorities and things like that. But then there's obviously things that come up throughout the semester. So we have weekly editorial meetings where we're going through like what's happening, what's new, what news has come up, what do we need to highlight, what do we need to prioritize. And oftentimes some of what comes up to us comes from students or from faculty and staff themselves saying, hey, this person is really amazing. Can you feature them? Or sometimes it's a program where we're saying we really want to promote enrollment in this program. So let's do a story about a student in that program. So there's a lot of ways that that they can come up. But if you all have any ideas and be representatives of the students, I'm sure you meet with a lot of students and are aware of what's going on. If you ever have thoughts, actually, my last slide is my email, and I would encourage you to shoot me an email. And we will review that every week and get back to you if that's something that we can cover. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hi, I was just wondering if you could share any opportunities for SGA students to get involved in the storytelling that TU Today does, or just in general how students at Towson University can get more involved with the UNC office.
Yes, well, you would know more than anyone. So Aaliyah worked in our office last year and was part of our team, and we typically have at least 1 or 2 students every semester that is actually developing content for TU News and helping to review TU Today and sitting in on our editorial meetings and helping weigh in on what stories might be useful and what might not. So if that's something of interest to you, I think someone said that they're interested in communications. Keep an eye out on Handshake. We post those positions throughout the year, and we're actually hiring for one right now. So we'd love to have you. Yeah. All right, thank you all so much for taking the time and having me today. I appreciate it.
All righty. Now we're gonna move into public participation / student concerns. Hear none, see none. We're now gonna move to communications, beginning with advisory remarks.
Happy Tiger Tuesday. I have 3 announcements for today. First one is our SGA inauguration. So next, 2 Mondays from now, May 4th, at 5:30 p.m., we're having the inauguration of the 106th administration. We're doing something unique this year. I don't think I mentioned this last week. There are some SGA alumni who are interested in coming back and talking to current SGA students. So with the outgoing administration and the incoming administration, we're having a mixer immediately following the inauguration ceremony. It'll be in the same space, so you don't have to go anywhere. So we're really excited to make some connections between current SGA students and former SGA students. I'm excited to bring folks back. These are some former students that I haven't had the chance to work with, but I really enjoy knowing that folks who had an experience on campus feel so empowered in that experience to come back and share and drop some knowledge and connect with the folks who are here now. So that's the first thing. It is on everyone's calendar. I double checked. Thank you, Kel, for sending that out. My second announcement is SALA, so Student Affairs Leadership Awards, is a partnership with Student Government Association, the Division of Student Affairs. And y'all sponsor not only scholarships, but award funding for a number of students and student organizations who have done amazing things throughout the academic year. Y'all are hosting the watch party component. That'll be, it's in pause, right? In pause downstairs. And there's a connection point. So please make sure that you're there. There will be free food. I heard there's some wings for that. And then my last piece is about Tiger Tuesday Bash. I mentioned this to President Ali, but I'll ask the larger group if you are interested. The last Tiger Tuesday Bash event is on Tuesday, May 12th. That's the last day of classes, so right before finals. It'll be a really, really big event on Tiger Plaza in Towson Town Field. There'll be free food, carnival rides, bunch of other stuff, prizes. But we'll be doing some tabling. I would love it if SGA eventually becomes an ambassador of Tiger Tuesday Bash. Y'all say Happy Tiger Tuesday in every one of these meetings. Just throwing it out there. So if you want a table and really get the word out about what SGA is doing, just come let me know after GA today. And I'll get you down. The event is from 11 to 2. We can do it in shifts, so you don't have to be out there the whole time. But I would love to see some SGA representation out there for the last Tiger Tuesday bash. And I yield my time.
Appropriations Committee.
Appropriations Committee met last Thursday as well as today for an emergency meeting. We have a supplemental request that will be coming out. And we don't have much other coming in, so unless we get a supplemental request in tomorrow, there will be no appropriations meeting this Thursday. Any questions?
Was there a, why are you this? I did it. Thank you.
Government Operations Committee.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. No report.
Rules Committee.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. Oh, Lord.
President Ali.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everybody. Just a quick report. First, I'd like to say congratulations to the 106 administration electees. You guys ran a really good campaign. I'm very proud of each and every single one of you guys. I would like to also make an announcement. This past Friday, I want to apologize for anything that may have came off tense in the SGA group meet, and to explain that if there's anything that you guys personally feel that SGA needs to make a statement for, that you can find me or any member of the e-board, but mostly me or Liam, to write said statement, and we'd be happy to sit down and to convey the feelings that you are feeling as students, and I wanted that to be conveyed to the wider SGA body. Third announcement. If you are a graduate from SGA, and you have not gotten your graduation stole, please see Janaya at the front desk. She has a box full of them, and it's making me worry that some core members of SGA that are graduated do not have their stole. If you know anybody that has been in the SGA administration in the prior semester or prior years and is also graduating, please relay that information, because they're once SGA member, always SGA member, so they're allowed to get their stole. My fourth announcement is that SGA banquet will be April 30th in South Campus Pavilion. Is there a pavilion in it? Yeah, okay. It starts at 6:45 till 9 p.m. We have a very fun program planned for you guys, and we would also like for everybody to show up at 6:45. That means be dressed in the room at 6:45 so we can start promptly on time. We have some awards that we'd be liking to give out, so just make sure that you're there. You never know what you can win. Also, it is formal attire, so like dresses and like nice wear, not anything like super casual. If you have any questions or would like to know any more details about banquet, please find Kel or Maya after. Block party is Thursday. And to help out with the block party, I will be sending out a sign of genius on behalf of Senator I can't. It's fine. She already did it. Oh, okay. Well, Senator Salmon, thank you. I can't pronounce Salmon. It's okay. Salmon. I have a problem pronouncing salmon, so I know, but I have. All right, Ian. Senator Salmon already sent out a sign of genius for anybody willing to volunteer really for some more community service hours. There's another opportunity for you. Tonight we are having a safety walk immediately after GA. If it ends at 7 o'clock, we will be starting in Tiger Plaza. Yeah, I don't know why I went to say Plaza. We'll be starting in Tiger Plaza and walking to West Village. We will be joined by higher administration, so it will be great if all SGA members that have the availability to show up can show up. And if there are no further questions, with that, I yield. Also, if you are a graduating senior, please be at the next GA. We will be taking a picture and it will be so pretty. Yes.
It's about the dump, like why exactly is it called should be, like you said the name, but I don't know what it says.
Okay, that makes sense. I can do two things for you. I can explain it verbally, but then I'll also send a picture because I'm not good at explaining directions at all. But it's it's the nice fancy building when you go up to SecU. I'm gonna send a picture. Any other questions? Okay, with that, I yield.
Treasurer Allen.
Happy Taco Tuesday, guys. Honestly, not much. Pretty much just reiterating what I said at last General Assembly. If you guys are planning any events, hopefully you know what you're doing and you'll have that submitted sooner rather than later. If you submitted an IES and it still hasn't been approved, just let me know. I don't have anything, but I just want to make sure nothing slips through the cracks. And then there are many finance and budget related bills on the floor tonight. Most importantly, the large event fund that has been brewing, the provisions for that are on the floor. I've worked incredibly hard on it, as have other people who have contributed to it. So please, guys, just take your time, read through everything. Some stuff's for, I think everything for second reading has been tabled. Correct, okay, cute. So just take your time, read through everything. The budget for student organizations for next year is also on the floor for second reading. So cute, ask questions. Don't feel obligated to, but just be aware of what's on the floor. Any questions? Great, with that, I yield.
Attorney General Sonia.
Hello, everyone. Happy Tiger Tuesday. Just a quick note that we're back to our regular GA scheduled programming. I do see a lot of phones, so let's please put them away. But as we all know, weekly reports due every Friday at 5 p.m. Make sure they're detailed, accurate. Safety walk is tonight, like President Ali said. You're going to hear more of that from Director Brown. But yeah, it is mandatory. If you haven't already put in an absence request, and there's dire unforeseen circumstances, please do let me know. And it is from 7 to 9 p.m., but be there at 6:45. And dress appropriately for it because you are walking, so long pants, tennis shoes, clothes that can get dirty, and please do bring water to stay hydrated. Yeah, this seems to be any questions. With that, I yield.
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everybody. I just have two announcements. The first one, if you guys did not get your polo and quarter, please go to the office and get it because y'all were hounding me bad about them and there's still a lot sitting there. So if you didn't get one, please come get it. And then I have two resignations to announce. The first one is Representative Hannah and the second one is Assistant Director Burton. You guys have any questions? Any sadness? Sorry, okay, with that, I yield.
Director of Communications.
Hi, everybody. Happy Tiger Tuesday. Thank you. I have three announcements. Number one, you guys, how many of you guys went to Tiger Fest? Okay, well, I provided you guys those tickets, so I'm glad they were being put to use. I hope you guys had a good time. Sorry. Okay, so Suit Up, right? So I got this email from Suit Up. It actually hit President Ali's desk and then it hit mine. But Suit Up is basically like a business professional attire, I guess, office on campus. And they just got some inclusive sizing for, they just got some more inclusive sizing. This is business professional wear that you can wear for interviews, internships, and other career opportunities. You can either rent or, just take it home with you. And as a thank you to SGA and our contributions to their funding, they would like if a couple of representatives from SGA could do a photo shoot for them. So if you're interested in the photo shoot, if you're interested in leaving your legacy in that way, please find me after GA. I think that'll be really, really great. And then also, I need some people to participate. I'm doing an end of the year celebration video, because the Kel requested it. So I'm gonna do it for the banquet. I've already interviewed a couple people, but I would love to interview a couple more. It's very casual, like informal, just be yourself, talk about your experience in, SGA, the good, the bad, whatever you want. It's gonna live forever, so just be mindful of that. If you're interested, just come find me afterwards before I dip. Any questions? Okay, I go.
Department of Community Outreach,
No report.
Department of Diversity and Inclusion,
No report.
Department of Governmental Affairs,
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everyone. No report.
Department of Health and Wellness,
No report.
Department of Campus Relations,
No report.
Department of New Student Development,
No report.
Department of Special Projects.
I have a report. All right, good evening, everybody. Happy Tiger Tuesday. So it's just a reminder, please do not send me any emails regarding group bookings. It must be through base camp and approved by Deputy Chief Staff Bullock at all times. No buts, no ifs, no buts. And of course, all events, upcoming events have been sent out via calendar invite and will continue to do so as events trickle in. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Department of Student Organizations,
No report.
Department of Student Services and Affairs,
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everybody.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people saying they weren't going to the safety walk. That is a mandatory event. I promise y'all snacks, dessert, and drinks will be provided. We're just walking around campus to see what's accessible and what needs to be fixed. Any questions? With that, I yield.
Department of Sustainability,
Hi everyone, happy Tiger Tuesday. So this week is Earth Week and happy Earth Week to you all. Tomorrow's Earth Day, so I'm doing an event called One Scoop, One Planet. It's just like an IQ social where we could just like talk, parlay, I guess. It's from 4:30 to 6. And it's on the Glenfridge, so invite your friends, come get ice cream if you want. That's it, okay. Thank you.
Fraternity and Sorority Representative,
Happy Tiger Tuesday, y'all.
We have quite a bit of events in the world of Greek life.
I'm gonna start off with MGC, starting off with LTA. They're hosting their Mr. Burgundy is Gray on April 30th. That will be in pause, so watch for their Instagram for more information. They're also having a denim day, so, that's gonna be on the 29th. Just wearing, denim and raising awareness, for sexual violence and things like that. So please wear denim on the 29th. Moving on to ASR and SIA, they are having a live event tomorrow and they're doing a self-care night. So, we're getting around that time. Feel free to stop by for their self-care event tomorrow. It's also SIA's Charter Week, so they have a week full of events. So on top of tomorrow's event, they will be doing rose crafting on Thursday, and they're doing pie at SIA tomorrow. So get your money on the SIA's. They're also hosting an informational tonight, so all that information for their events will be on their Instagram. And moving on to MPHC, starting off with Alpha Phi Alpha, they are also having an Alpha Week this week. Tonight they're hosting an event, with Sisterhood as well as with Money and Minority. So, getting Your Money Right goes to their event, and they also have a run club tomorrow, seminar on Thursday, and community service on Friday, so look at their Instagram for that. Moving on to Delta Sigma Theta, they're having their red light special tonight, right next door. I know you guys heard that music, so feel free to stop by and support the Deltas. And they're also having a Black Excellence Expo, coming up, look at their Instagram for that as well. And moving on to Zeta Phi Beta, they will be having a bake sale tomorrow. Everybody, I'm gonna say it one more time, bake sale tomorrow from 12 to 3 on the first floor of Union. Feel free to look at the Instagram for more information. We're also hosting an informational interest meeting on Thursday and hosting a walk on Sunday. And anyone can stop by to walk. We're supporting, March for Babies. So it's nearby. Look for the Instagram for more information, and that's all. Yeah.
Hi, what's the menu for the bake sale?
That's a great question. We got a lot. So we have banana pudding, so we have original and Biscoff banana pudding. We have first leches, so we have vanilla and strawberry. We have white chocolate Biscoff cookies, cookies and cream cookies, and a cinnamon apple cookie.
And what form of payment would be best?
Alright, you have all forms of.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
You said you're gonna be, oh.
Wait, where are you gonna be located at again?
First floor of Union, 12 to 3 tomorrow.
Lovely, I'll see you there.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just before I get too excited, what the price is?
Everything's under $6.
Oh, okay, thank you.
God bless you. Any other questions? No? Okay, that's great. What about you?
To report.
Sports Club Council Representative,
No report.
University Residence Government Representative,
Happy Tiger Tuesday. So, URG's Drop Swap and Shop event is currently, right? Yeah, currently still happening till 6 today, Glenn. Our last day for this event is tomorrow. We will be in Newell Field from 3 to 6 p.m. So far, we've had over 2,000 donations. We still collect donations at the event, and any remaining donations will be given to the hub. A lot of good items. I recommend going. Tomorrow's a free-for-all. Tonight we have our GA, where voting on changes made to our constitution, specifically to e-board positions. The second annual HRL Senior Celebration is happening next week, the 28th, from 3:30 to 5 p.m. in Union Ballroom D. RSVP does close tonight, but if you're a senior and you didn't RSVP, just message me. And lastly, guys, with the current situations happening within residence halls, I do ask that you please give HRL some grace and make sure not to spread misinformation. Are there any questions?
President Ali.
How can SGA better support URG as well as HRL as everything's going down in the tower vicinity?
HRL staff, they will be having a meeting today, I think tomorrow, to discuss the current situations. I'm not sure if they're gonna put out a statement, but just remembering to spread resources, make sure residents know that, hey, we're here for you, there's SOS, there's other things. And if you know a resident, a friend that's been misplaced, please offer housing if you can. Are there any other questions? With that, are you?
Yes, good question from Representative Martin. Alrighty. Happy Tiger Tuesday, everybody. All right, second to last GA. I'm getting a little excited. So if you can, please put your nameplates in the back. We've kind of had a struggle with that lately, where people just kind of leave their nameplates. That goes for everybody, please, that nice little beautiful box that we got back there. Just drop your nameplates in. Thank you for the demonstration. I appreciate that. Also, same thing with the agendas. If you're gonna leave them behind, just please take them with you and recycle them. We've had an issue with that. And I'm tired of staying after a couple minutes from GA and putting all those things back. If you guys could do that. In addition to that, I also have some resignations to announce. We have to announce the resignation of Ryan Kelly and Kadia Tukante. And just to touch more on the former, I know you all received an email on Friday that may have said some things that may be slightly disheartening or confusing. I know many of you have approached me about those things. But the thing is, I don't want you guys to be silent about any of that. If any of the things you read in your email, resonated with you or you felt the same way, I please want you guys to come to the e-board and explain why you felt that way. Just so we can have a talk with you and make sure that if you're confused by any of the things that you receive in your email or any of the things you've heard about lately, just come to us so we can clarify it or, comfort any of the fear you might feel, just because we don't want any fear mongering to get to you guys. We don't want any misinformation to get to you guys, based on some things people might feel. But yeah, no, please let me know if anything like that has gotten to you because we want this administration to be strong together. We don't want anyone to feel divided and we don't want anyone to feel unheard, or isolated. I know that can be a problem that people may feel. But yeah, other than that, member of the week. Member of the week, can I get a drum roll, please? All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So this week's member of the week, it's their first year in SGA. When President Lee and I were discussing this member, the phrase we used is rolling with the punches. In terms of this person has had to deal with it. Has had to deal with a lot of changes, had to deal a lot with problems coming up with their events, not because of them, but because of outside factors, because of things that have happened from the administrative level, from the e-board level, and they rolled the punches, stayed strong, stayed in the administration, overcame adversity, and today we get to see a product of that adversity they overcame. So without a doubt, this week's member of the week is Director Brown. Are there any questions? All right, with that I yield. Are there any opinions of the court?
Happy Tiger Tuesday, everybody. So for judicial branch, we met with the TU Economic Society. Their grant was approved. Additionally, we met with the Filipino Culture Association. Their appeal was denied. Freestyles was also denied, and then the Healthcare Leadership Academy was also denied. Additionally, on Friday, the employment review meeting or reconveyed on Friday at 11 a.m. With that, I yield.
All right, Senator. All right, Senators, we will now move into a quorum call. That's to indicate here. Okay, with 16 senators present, we have met quorum. Are there any motions on the floor? Appropriations Chair Miller.
Motion to review finance bill number 8.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Senator K. Williams. All right, and with the vote of 15-0, the motion has passed. We will now go into. Oh, Senator Conan, please present the bill.
Hi, everyone. So as discussed last week, this is just the budget for next full year for the budget given to organizations following budget deliberations. So it's a total of $97,690.64 to organizations, and that would be going to them next semester. Any questions?
All right, any no questions? Is there a motion on the floor? Senator, Rivera Forbes. Oh, government operations chair, Rivera Forbes.
I got a question, finance bill number 8.
Is there a second? Thank you, Senator Rounds. Okay, and with the vote of 15-0, the call question was passed. We will now go to a vote. Okay, and with the vote of 15-0, the vote has passed. The vote has passed. Thank you, Senator Koenig, for your vote. Are there any other motions on the floor? Senator Kay Williams,
Motion to acquire Senate Bill number 26.
is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Property Commissioner Arnold. The vote of 15-0, the motion has passed. Will Senator Kay Williams please present your vote? And Treasurer. And Vice President.
So this is just a Senate bill concerning the FPSO. So, you guys know that we approved the large event fund, I think like last week. So this is just adding in like the actual provisions, like Treasurer Allen was talking about earlier. This is the result of a lot of discussions between the treasurer, couple senators, advisors. So I'm just gonna list out everything. The purpose of the large event fund is to provide financial support for student organizations that are planning large attendance and high cost events. For student organizations to meet the requirements, they must have at least 250 attendees, be free and open to the public. Organization advisors must be involved in the planning, and present within the event. Grant requesters must submit at least 6 weeks in advance. They must present their request in front of the appropriations committee. With that presentation, they must have a slideshow detailing the event, documents with thorough research, and a budget spreadsheet. Oh yeah, so if they can't meet with the appropriations committee, just meet with the treasurer and then another executive board member. Requests must be at least 6,500, but no more than 20,000. Greek organizations must have a minimum requirement of 1,500 and a max of 15,000. It can be a fundraising event. Advertisements must be available at least 15 days in advance. Organizations cannot request more than once a semester, but Greek organizations cannot request more than once per academic semester. If they have like budget lines for that event in their actual budget that they were allocated, during like budget hearings and budget deliberations, if they request for the same event within the large event fund, then those budget lines will be voided out, so they can't use those within their budget. And then again, any application is up to the discretion of the appropriations committee.
Right, considering that this is first reading, only technical, non-debatable questions allowed. President Ali.
Can you explain in simplified terms what you mean by if they get the large event fund, they can't, like, what the last part you just said about the budget allocation money that they have, and how the large event fund impacts the budget allocation money?
So basically, the way it works now is when students are going for a budget, they have to like list they have events that they're actually planning for and the items that they're planning for within like their budget. So like if they have like, let's use AUC for example, right? AUC is having a ball. they have the ADC ball in their actual budget. So if they were to request for the ADC ball using the large event fund, all the items that they're requesting for that ADC ball in their actual budget, they cannot use.
Can you explain where that money that they were originally allocated from would then go if they were using their large event fund? And I got a couple more questions,
Okay, so starting there, an organization will be allowed to put in a budget change so that they can use the money and reallocate it for their budget. So it's not like they use the large event fund. The funds that they were allocated in their semester budget are entirely voided. It goes back to SGA. That's not the case. They'll be able to do a budget change, or there's gonna be, I'm trying to figure out how to word it. But if an organization decides they don't want to use the money, let's say in the example of ADC, if the only thing they requested for was the ball, they decide, okay, they're using the large event fund for the ball, then their entire semester budget would be voided. They're not gonna be held to that fundraising requirement. They're only gonna be able to use the large event fund.
Okay, and then a follow-up question, how would you implement a structure, because the problem, and this is a tangent, not the question, the problem that we have with budget is, can I do that? No? You don't know how to hear me?
Point of order. Point of order.
Have you thought about how you would differentiate this program from the other alternative methods we have for student organizations to get extra money from SGA? Like, can you explain the thought process of getting this new program out to students? Do you have a thought process of getting this? Somebody told me it was good. Was good? Yeah. Yeah, what's the thought process of getting this?
Just answer there.
But you, okay, sorry, I was getting a little bit of help on the technical non-debatable. Can you elaborate further on how this program differentiates from the other alternative funding programs we have for student orgs to get extra money from SGA?
Okay, this, fund entirely, this specifically is for large event funds. So, I'm gonna find it. Senator Williams could speak better to the other funds because he's vice chair of appropriations. But this is specifically for student organizations who are having large scale events. So organizations like ADC, who has Explosion and the Ball, those are both large scale events. Organizations like MOD, who have very large modeling shows, that's specifically for them, not just for them, but they can get money from this fund because they're having a larger scale event in comparison to other alternative funding. Okay. In comparison to other alternative funding, I would say grant. This one also has more provisions because this is more so scaled towards the fact that, okay, you're requesting a larger sum of money than you would for another grant. You actually have to have the proof that this is gonna be a large scale event. So with things like the 250 attendees minimum, free and open to the public, and you have to request a minimum of $6,500, at least from what I've seen from other alternative funding grants, student organizations just aren't requesting that much money from those grants because the funds just aren't there, for one, for them to request that money, but also because they're exhausting their semester budget. So this is just opening up that access and letting these organizations who normally have these super big events, this is just giving them the room to do that.
Attorney General Sonnet.
So would, during initial, can I give context? Like, when the organizations come in the beginning.
Order.
Okay. Budget process. Step 1, step 2, step 3, right? During step 1, would the clubs tell about the large event funds? That's good. Would the clubs, when they present, their presentation, yada, yada, since it's a large event, so they're already expecting said large event, would they disclose this to you to the treasurer during the budget process, or would they wait till they put in their request for the large event fund to approach chair? Or like, would everybody be in the loop during said large event fund process?
Is it safe to answer?
Okay, so the budget process and this, because it's alternative funding, these are gonna be two completely separate processes. So next fall, when he's going through the process, this isn't necessarily something they need to bring up because this is gonna be two completely different things, if that makes sense. So because student organizations have to do this 6 weeks in advance, this should be happening honestly as soon as an organization has the thought, as soon as they have all of the information they need, because they're requesting such a large amount of money. So this isn't necessarily something that they need to disclose to the treasurer and the budget committee when the process of initial budget and everything is commencing. It doesn't have to be disclosed. It would only need to be disclosed if it's something they're including in their budget, but it will obviously be expected that they're not including it in the budget if they plan on using the large event fund, because I guess for lack of better words, they can't necessarily double dip.
Would you guys be open to placing limits within requesting a budget? So like during step 1, step 2, step 3, initial budget FBC, since they're requesting a huge sum of money for this large event, would there be like a limit for how much they can request during initial budget hearings or no?
I mean, there's already limits on their account maximums, but, like we say, they can only have request this once per semester, for one event. And like it says in here, if they request for this big event, which typically organizations like this, most of their budget is requesting for these big events. And we're covering out in this and it's voided in the regular budget, their budget's gonna be smaller anyway. So I really don't see a point in limiting, their budget, because now their budget, instead of going all toward a large event, all their fundraisers going to this large event, they can focus more money on allocating more money towards their general board meetings and things like that, with being funded the budgeting process.
Thank you.
Senator Ryan.
How would a student organization go about splitting costs among available grants that we provide as an SGA? So like large event, but also if they need safe, would they be encouraged to split their requests or just request everything in large? All right. Is it answerable question mark?
Just the last part, that you said, isn't for like the rest of us.
Okay. Organizations would actually just be encouraged to use the large event funds. So there aren't necessarily any parameters as to what an organization needs. If an organization's having an event, they need food, which generally will come out of the activity account. They're trying to look for ECS charges, which will come out of equipment. They need printing, that will come from their printing account. They're encouraged just to get everything from the large event fund. This doesn't necessarily cover one, I guess, account. So it's not just for like activity, equipment, printing, travel. It's whatever an organization needs. If they plan on having a large scale event, they're encouraged to go towards this fund instead of trying to, I guess, deplete multiple funds, if that makes sense.
Yeah, kind of what, going off what Treasurer Allen said, the goal of this fund is to kind of make sure people aren't splitting funds. And the way we did the research for the minimums and maximums of both the Greek events and student organization events is we looked at events that have actually been held on campus and found the most expensive ones, to find out if we can fit in the full cumulative cost of the entire event within one grant, so that there's not that splitting, that's already happening.
So two more, I'm gonna get back, two more. Would there be a fundraising requirement for the money? No. Okay, great. Oh, last one, okay. Would the security relief fund then be like? Wait, no, no, start me back, yes, thank you. Would the security relief fund then, be kind of unnecessary, since safe only in a. Do you guys think? How do you guys, And in what way would relief fund be used then, given the fact that the security relief fund or SAFE is only used for events with 200+ people?
Well, for one, I wouldn't say this would render like safe useless or anything of that nature, because again, the minimum dollar amount for an organization to use the large scale event fund, it has to be at least $6,500. And I know safe for a lot of organizations is not costing $6,500. I know I'm pretty sure IJU, we had it last year. I think it was max like maybe 2. So IJU, because of that low dollar amount, that if safe was the priority, that necessarily wouldn't fall under the large event fund. So if an organization's planning on, like, let's say their event is like $3,000 max, maybe safe is 1,500, they wouldn't be able to qualify for the fund. So in that event, they will still be able to apply for the SAFE grant and get whatever else they need from different forms of alternative funding. But the purpose of this is that if an organization is having an event that's so large scale, it's costing at least $6,500 minimum, again, to prevent double dipping. They will be able to get everything they need from this specific grant. But also, if an organization is having an event that doesn't fall under this, it's a little bit smaller, they will still be able to apply for the different forms of alternative funding to get what they need. Does that make sense? Okay, cute.
Government Operations Chair, Rivera Forbes.
Can I start with Will? Or no?
Yeah, it's.
Or what is the balance between the large event fund and the rest of the alternative funding when it applies to student organizations or finding multiple forms of funding? Can I do that? Misty, can I do that?
Can you, without getting point of order, elaborate more on balance?
So you mentioned how student organizations can apply to multiple funds, including the large event fund. While the large event fund can cover multiple things, there's a chance, like for instance, if they're going to a conference, they can apply to our conference fund, our event conference, fund, and they can get the conference money for that. I'm just wondering the balance in terms of the amount of funding certain student orgs are giving you. You know, I can just save it for next. I'll save it.
Operations Chair,
I do have questions, but I did want to start with a point of information, if that's okay with some of the things I've been mentioning about approach. The Security Relief Fund specifically, how that affects with this large scale event fund, not many security relief funds that we get there are two extremes. It's either a few $100s or a few $1,000s. So those that have large events, like very, very big events, we have had security relief events of $4,000, which is like 90% of the security relief fund. The security relief fund has $5,000 in it. That's why we've had to replenish it. So for events that have like $4,000 worth of security, that is something that they could use the large scale event fund for. Whereas we've had some events that only need a few safe security officers, which will be more around like the $500 range. So we've had a large range of that. So that will be a lot of the funds that we have had organizations apply for multiples of have been thousands of dollars in multiple funding events. So then they could just put that all together and then reach that $6,500 minimum. And that is a lot of the research that they've put into that. I was just getting some more clarification. And then my question, I have two, if that's okay. I had a question regarding the specification of Greek organizations. How would the other organizations that SGA delegates money to in the fiscal year budget, what would their application process look like for this fund? Or are they applicable to it, such as like sports clubs or other councils that we allocate money towards?
Trying to think of your question. Okay, it's processing. Okay, so for Greek organizations, or not Greek organizations, actually, Greek council specifically, they do get a item in the fiscal year budget, but that's for the entire council as a whole. Like, that doesn't necessarily benefit any specific chapter. And then obviously organizations like CAB, it wouldn't be something they would fall under. And then sports club organizations, honestly, I'm not gonna say they were like the biggest consideration when making this, and that's solely because I don't entirely have an understanding of how SEO works. I know when SGA provides money to sports club organizations, they have an entirely different funding process for all of the clubs that fall under them. That's unlike what we do for student organizations. So I'm not sure if there would be a need or exactly how the clubs under SEO work that they would be able to apply for this. I'm not necessarily opposed to them being able to apply for this grant. I would just need, I guess, a more defined process of how SEO works to see if they would even be applicable for the grant.
Thank you. And then, I actually ended up with a follow-up question to that question. Could you elaborate more on the Greek organization minimum being 1,500 and then the other minimum being 6,500?
Yes, so the consideration for student organizations and why the minimum for student organizations is 6,500 is because that's the maximum of the activity account and the equipment account maxed out. And generally, when student organizations are having large scale events, those are the two accounts that they either max out or try to push to their absolute limit. So that was kind of the mindset behind that. Obviously, that would be what they need the most. So that's where we geared it for that. And then for Greek organizations, because I'm pretty sure all Greek organizations are self-funded, unless they receive donations for alumni or graduate chapters, all Greek organizations on Towson's campus are self-funded. So, and a lot of them don't have, extremely large numbers in terms of membership. So the lower amount, the 1,500, was because, for one, Greek organizations don't necessarily have the amount of money that a student organization would be offered to have a large scale event. So it's lowered for them in the event that they do something like a new member presentation. I know IFC and Panhandle, they have like, you not be wrong. That's really not my department. I don't know what they do. They have like date parties and pageants and things of that nature. So that lowered amount is just because, for one, they don't have as much money. So they're not having like the super big events, and because they don't, I just lost my train of thought thinking about what the people do. They don't have as much money, for one, and two, the events they're having are a smaller scale than like an organization like MOD or ADC.
And just to add some more context on that in terms of our research, like I said earlier, when we looked for what the limits would be both for student organizations and Greek organizations, we looked at past events that had been held. Hence why you see that higher maximum for the student organizations, because we found the highest events that we could find a record was like 18,000, 19,000. So we decided to do around 20,000. But then for Greek organizations, we found that maximum to be much lower, while also the average probate cost was also much lower as well. And we just want to be able to open up both those things to the public.
Thank you. And then my final question is just about how the fund is allocated. Right now, it is written that the appropriations committee will fully allocate it, correct? So they will have just a meeting and then they will be able to send it to the organization and it won't go through the Senate?
That's not up to you.
All right.
Okay, let it.
All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions? All right, are there any motions on the floor? Senator Rance.
Motion to inquire Senate Bill number 27.
there a second? Thank you, Senator Wood. Okay, and with a vote of 13-0-0, the motion has passed. Will Appropriations Chair Miller please present your vote?
Okay, so this bill establishes a finance committee within SGA. Throughout my time as appropriations chair this year, I noticed there were a lot of instances where the treasurer and I needed to talk about something, and then we needed to pull in maybe the chief justice, or like there's a lot of communication that needed to happen about the finances within SGA that were limited at many points because we weren't able to get a hold of each other. So I wanted to establish a finance committee to set a time where pretty much anyone within SGA that deals with our internal finances can sit down and talk about our finances so that we are able to have a set time. There have been many instances where processes have fallen short because we weren't able to communicate effectively with each other. Most recently, the supplemental request that you are about to see on the floor later today. That was a big lapse that happened on our end. That was just because we didn't have that effective line of communication. Is there any questions?
I have a question. Oh my. What is the need of a finance committee? More communication.
Yeah, so it just, the need for a finance committee was just because there were multiple points that we were trying to communicate through text and emails. It wasn't done as effectively as when we all got in a room and talked to each other. Just having frequent updates about what each other is doing. It would just prevent a lot of mistakes and lapses that have happened this year. Especially with the supplemental request for ADC that slipped through. None of that was because of incorrect communication. It was primarily because Treasurer Allen was doing something on her end and I was doing something on my end that we just didn't know the other was doing. So if we had a point during like every week or bi-weekly that we would just be able to meet and discuss, it would help a lot. Especially, I know there have been a lot of appeals that the Chief Justice and Deputy Chief Justice have needed our input in, or like just information saying like, hey, so what did happen with this? And so if that gives a vessel for the judicial branch to ask us more questions about things that are happening within the finance side, that would be helpful. And it gives the Director of Special Projects an open avenue to discuss what else. I just wanted for all of the finance people to be able to discuss anything that would be related to that finance. Plus, you know, we've been tongue in cheek called the finance department of SGA enough times. I figured it was, you know, worth establishing an actual finance committee for that discussion to occur.
I'll say first. President Ali.
Hi, who chairs the finance committee if the treasurer is unavailable?
Line of succession says that it would be the appropriations chair. But a lot of the committee would revolve around communications that are necessary with the treasurer. So it's also possible that we could just, cancel finance committee for the week if the treasurer is like sick. Because a lot of communication revolves around each department needing to talk to the treasurer.
Yeah. Consider having the language here that, would you consider adding language that determines whether or not this will be chaired by the appropriations committee chair, or the committee would meet the following week, just in case? I know that SGA has kind of an issue with the implied rather than the firmly stated, so I was just asking if you like consider adding a little bit more structure to who would chair the committee if the treasurer is not available.
I did consider establishing like a direct vice of finance. But I didn't think there necessarily was a clear second in command of the committee, especially because it's two representatives from each department essentially. So like director, AD, justice, chief justice, chair, vice chair. It didn't seem like there was a specific like clear second in command, and plenty of committees will just not meet that week should someone be sick. And it would be meeting at a time that would be decided with availability for all of the members. So if something comes up, it can be a case by case basis, but we can also look in rules committee if the Senate thinks that there should be an established second in command to this. But I don't foresee that. Budget committee operates the same way. There isn't an established vice chair. And budget committee just kind of can't meet if the treasurer isn't able to meet, so this would just be at a time established by the treasurer. That's what I would think.
So hold on. Is Zoom on?
No, Zoom's on. Text,
It's still on?
yeah, the Zoom's still on.
Mike's is on?
We're just doing it.
Oh, good.
Okay. Okay. Was it considered that this could be an ad hoc committee? And yeah,
I did think about an ad hoc committee. The reason I wanted to write it into the bylaws specifically is because it was a lot of conversation that I had with Susan actually about how we have had such an influx in the finance department within SGA that there needs to be a lot more discussion. And I don't foresee students utilizing our funds any less. I think we have established a great groundwork for our finance department in SGA, and I think that there just needs to be more communication. An ad hoc committee only lasts for the year, and I think that this is something that there has been an established need for as we have continued to grow, and I don't foresee that need going away.
Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you, Appropriations Chair Miller, for your vote.
Oh, there we go.
Are there any motions on the floor? Senator, Conan, Senator Conan. Motion to inquire resolution 48. Is there a second? A second. Thank you, Senator. And Senator Kajalu. Okay, with the vote of 14-0-0, the motion has passed. Will Senator Yanes please present the bill? The resolution.
All right, this is a resolution regarding granting priority registration for off-campus students. Currently, Towson determines enrollment dates based on credit hours. So students with a greater number of credits will have an earlier registration time. The main reason behind this resolution is to accommodate for the challenges that off-campus students will face compared to on-campus students, specifically the time that it takes for them to get on campus. Access to an earlier registration will allow students, off-campus students, to make a schedule that fits their lifestyle and the challenges that they have to face. The best way that I propose this happens is an application-based system where off-campus students will submit a form with proof of evidence showing current lease or official mail. So my request is for the registrar office to consider permitting off-campus students an option to register early.
Considering that this is first reading, only technical, non-debatable questions on. Any, are there any? I recommend the senator yield their time to Representative.
I yield my time to the international student representative.
Thank you, Senator Renz.
I was wondering, since the early availability, possibility to register for classes is kind of looking for to allow seniors, for example, to have priority over classes they need to graduate. How would this affect them? Because that's sort of the purpose of it, allowing juniors and seniors upperclassmen to be able to register on time, graduate on time, not just credits just out of nowhere, I guess.
Point of order. That was technically, well, could you try to rephrase your question more like technical?
Okay, to rephrase it, since since the timing of when you are able to register for classes is based on credits, what you propose, how would that affect seniors, juniors, or upperclassmen in general, which benefit already from that and allowing them to graduate on time? How does this being beneficial to off-campus students might be not so beneficial to seniors?
Technically, the second half was debatable, so, the opinion on how it would be beneficial, don't ask, but the first part when it's saying, when she said, would, how would this affect, students with more credits, you answer that.
So currently, there are like certain groups that do have priority before seniors, like people with disabilities or honor students, athletes, like master students. So there's already groups that are like ahead of, seniors. So I haven't thought of specifically, maybe, I haven't thought of like specifically how it doesn't like, it's gonna affect the seniors. So honestly, I don't have a good answer for you right now.
Are there any questions? Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you, Senator. That's for your. Any other motions on the board? Senator Konak. Motion to inquire finance bill number 9. Is there a second? A second. Thank you, Senator Crenshaw. With the vote of 14-0-0, the motion has passed. Will Appropriations Chair Miller please proceed? Please go.
Okay, so like what, was someone mentioned earlier when discussing this earlier Senate bill, this is a supplemental request for ABC. This is just to allocate, the additional money that would continue to have their accounts, maxed. This was missed in the first reading, that we did. So we just wanted to correct that as soon as possible. Also, since this is a supplemental request and for the sake of time, I would like to motion to break Senate rules to move this into second reading.
Is there a second? I second. Thank you, Senator Konak. With the vote of 14-0-0, the motion has passed. And finance bill number 9 is now in second reading.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so this is just the additional allocation of $500 into their activity account for the ADC ball.
Are there any questions? All right, are there any motions on the floor? We can do a call to question. Call to question, finance bill number 9. Is there a second? A second. Thank you, Senator Jones. With a vote of 14-0-0, the call to question has passed. We will now go into a vote. With a vote of 14-0-0, the finance bill number 9 has passed. Thank you, Representative Chairman. Is there any other motions on the floor? Senator Kay Williams?
Motion to break Senate rules to move budget change number 2 to the review stage.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Representative Chairman. With a vote of 12-0-0, the motion has passed. Budget change bill number 2 is now in review. Will Senator Kay Williams please present your bill?
So I'd actually like to motion to amend budget change number 2 to strike through where it says the lab and replace with Pensa.
I second.
Oh, thank you, Representative Chairman. With a vote of 12-0-0, the amendment has passed. Yeah, the amendment has passed.
So this is just a budget change, for the organization Pensa. They're moving $1,400 from their activities account into their equipment account. And all the money is going toward their outdoor worship, again, in their equipment account.
Are there any other questions? Okay, are there any Representative Chairman?
I was just gonna call the question, budget change too.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Senator Samuel. With the vote of 12-0-0, the call to question has passed. We will now move into a vote. The vote of 12-0-1, the budget change bill number 2 has passed. Thank you, Senator Kay Williams, for your bill. We'll now move into. Okay. We'll now move into announcements. Vice President Britton.
Just one. Just one last reminder that we have a safety walk going on from 7 to 9. It's a mandatory event. So in the next 6 minutes, if you do not have a direct conflict, make your way over. Thank you.
Are there any other announcements? Are there any motions on the floor? Senator Billiard,
Motion to adjourn.
is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Senator. With a vote of 12-0-0, General Assembly has been adjourned.
Oh, okay. Attitude. No.